comic books are still really cool, and they're really only getting better, with better graphics, better story, and just cooler characters and more kind of what-if scenarios. And that's actually what a lot of these... No, actually, that's what all the comic books I'm about to tell you about are. They're very interesting, they're very cool, and I'm excited to share them with you. So, I mean, hey, let's get into it. Alright, and the next one that I want to talk about is DC Dark Knights of Steel. Really cool name. If you have seen the Marvel What If series, I believe it is season 2 on Disney Plus. One of the episodes is one where everyone is in a medieval setting. Everyone's like a knight in shining armor. Like Captain Rogers, Captain America is basically, he's Robin Hood, and the Hulk is a prisoner. It's awesome. It's so cool to be immersed in that storyline. That's basically what it is for DC. So what happened in this DC storyline? So it's medieval times. What happens basically, the elves, they all escape Krypton. So Jor-El and his wife and their unborn son Kal-El, and their unborn twins Kal-El and I believe I can't remember her name, but it's not Kari, it's not Supergirl, whatever. Anyway, they crash land, and it is in medieval times. It's not in this old era. So they find out that they have the powers of the Yellow Sun, right? And they make a living. So the elves, they find out that a volcano is going to erupt next to this kingdom, right? Okay, so they anonymously try to warn this kingdom by writing a little letter to the chief advisor, who is Lex Luthor, and he gets a little frustrated because he doesn't know where this note came from, and he's used all of his like mythical consulting the stars bullcrap, and he's like, yeah, no, this can't be true. So he burns the note and doesn't tell anybody. Eventually the elves are like, why has nothing been done? Like, these people should be evacuated. So they talk to the king, and the king and Luthor yell at them, and they're like, hey, this isn't happening. So the elves take it upon them to stop this eruption, get people out, and just stop the volcano from erupting. I think just put a big giant boulder on the mouth. I don't know. That'll solve everything. But anyway, somehow the people are saved, and the king gets angry at Luthor and banishes him, and makes the elves the new ruler, turning this kingdom into the House of El. It's super cool. It's awesome. Then, the king and queen are Batman's parents. Yeah. Martha Wayne and whoever the dad is, he's not important. Martha. Anyway. So what is it? Kal and his sister are born, and so is Batman, Bruce Wayne, and they all are playing as little kids. They're best friends, right? So there's this guy called the Green Man, who is Lex Luthor turned Joker, and he has a Green Lantern ring, and it's super cool, and he's causing mischief all over the kingdom to the House of Elves, eventually killing the king, who is Jor-El, and that really angers Batman and Superman, and obviously Supergirl. Not Supergirl, I don't know, whoever the sister is. Supergirl's cousin. And then he also causes trouble in other kingdoms, making them basically war against the others. So he frames the House of El, or not the House of El, some other kingdom. I think it's called the Kingdom of Storms. Can't really remember who rules that. Maybe it's Shazam. Maybe, I don't know. But he causes Themyscira and the Amazons to go to war against them, and it causes a whole bunch of conflict because the Green Lantern ring is talking to him and telling him to do these things. So he's like, well, all right then. So eventually this big heated battle with tons of twists in the middle, by the way. Super cool. It's an amazing story. Eventually everyone goes to war against each other, and there's this super cool twist villain that reveals himself, cuts off the Green Man's hand, Lex Luthor's hand, and steals the ring and then kills him. And then everyone has to join together and kill that guy and his army. I'm not gonna spoil it because honestly, I think you guys should research it for yourself. It's super cool. So yeah, give this one a read. It's awesome. I love the medieval thing. I love the medieval stories. It's so cool. It's so interesting. It's so well written. There are some things that I don't entirely like about it, but it's just it has nothing to do with the story. Just like some of like the personalities of the characters, I think, and just like their choices. Some of that doesn't make sense, and I don't really like. But yeah, give this one a read. It's really cool. If you couldn't tell from the thumbnail, Darth Vader is looking a little different. Yeah, it's not your eyes playing tricks. He is white, yes, and it's very cool. It is all from a comic book series called Star Wars Infinities, and it's a lot like a story where little things change, very, very small things go differently than in like the movies, and that changes the entire story. So in this one, at some point, I believe one of like the rebel invasions or something like that just doesn't go right, and when they try to unfreeze Han Solo from carbonite, they find that he is completely blind. Also, Darth Vader, when he finds out that Luke and Leia are his children, he kind of acts a little differently. And that kind of makes him want to be with them again. Not really on a dark side. Like he doesn't want them to join him like he does in the movies. He wants to be with them, but I don't think he really wants like this life for them. So at the last battle when he's fighting Luke, Palpatine, I believe, senses that he doesn't want to, his heart's not fully into the dark side, so he kind of betrays Vader and gets away, and Luke and Leia help Darth Vader because he wants to be with them and he's seeking them out. So they help him back, and eventually he gets the cool new suit, the one that you've seen, and he turns into White Vader, and they all team up to hunt down Palpatine and destroy the Empire once and for all. And that's where the comic book ends. It's really interesting and it's very cool. My goodness, I love what if stories. They're amazing. I love thinking about like, oh, what if this happened and this was done differently? And that's what all of these comics are going to go over, and what all these comics are about, because I love the idea of a Jedi Darth Vader, because Darth Vader is by far one of the coolest characters, if not the top, in all of Star Wars. And turning him back to the light side is just awesome. That's crazy, and I love it. It's awesome. So definitely go look this up. This is one comic. Can't remember what it's called, but there are, I believe, 2 others at least. There's at least 3 comics of this series. I don't think if that it is entirely like they go off of each other. I believe that is like one thing is different and this changes the story this way, and then this other thing is different and it changes the story this way. I think that's the case, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, let's move on to the absolutes, starting with Wonder Woman. But first, if you don't know already, the Absolute Universe is one where all of the characters and heroes are normally the underdogs, because the Absolute Universe was created by Darkseid, and he's the center and the fabric of this reality, rather than the main DC universe being basically under Superman. So with Absolute Wonder Woman, her story, she was created from clay by Hippolyta and then was banished to Hell by Zeus, where she was trained and raised and taught with magic by Circe in the underworld. She is this universe. She's covered with large tattoos. She's got darker armor, and she wields a massive enchanted sword. She is known to be the greatest warrior in the universe, but she leans more toward magic and sorcery in battle rather than actual like skill and strength and power, which is what the main universe Wonder Woman does. Even though like Absolute Wonder Woman is definitely she still is very strong and very powerful and very skilled though. She is still a compassionate and kind hero, and she still cares about others, even though she was born and raised in Hell and now has to survive and live in a dark dystopian world that is the Absolute universe. Yeah, so she rides a skeletal black Pegasus that looks pretty cool. She's like almost 7 feet tall, and yeah, she's huge. She's a very big person. Yeah, Absolute Superman. His story is also different from the main universes. So instead of being born and raised in like the elite class on Krypton, like his parents were scientists and renowned, he was born and raised on like the lowest like labor guild. Basically his parents were farmers, kind of like the Kents, but on Krypton. And he was after Krypton blows up and he gets to Earth, he arrives there as like a teenager, an adolescent, rather than just a little baby. He starts with the Kents and is with them for a little while, but then there's an accident caused by something called like the Lazarus Corps, which is like a big company that rules like this large town under tyranny. So he is forced to live on his own. He is also deeply empathetic, and he still cares for others, but because of his past and everything that happened, he is a traumatized character still. Much of where he gets his powers and how his powers work is very different from the main story. He cannot fly. He can make big leaps, but he can't really fly. He has a suit. His cape is made out of the dust of Krypton, which is pretty cool. And he gets his power from red sun generators, so it's kind of like the opposite, I think. Instead of like in the main story, how Superman is born and raised and integrated through America and doesn't really have as much of a problem with integrating into life on Earth. This one focuses more on him being an alien and just being separate from the world, and that's kind of where he struggles. So it's pretty cool. So Absolute Batman, his story is very different from the main story. In this universe, he is a working class citizen. He's no longer a billionaire. Yeah, he works as like an engineer kind of thing. So he's your average citizen, really. As a kid, his father was downed in a mass shooting at the Gotham City Zoo, but instead of both of his parents being killed, Martha survives. So he still has one parent, so that's pretty good for him. Because he doesn't really have like the billions of dollars to like spend and invest in amazing technology, he builds his own suit with his like engineering expertise. So, and he also compensates for the fact that he doesn't really have as much weaponry and high-tech gadgetry by being super tall and extremely swole. He's like almost set in his suit. He's over 7 feet tall and weighs about 400 pounds. Instead of Alfred, instead of him being like his butler, because he's not a billionaire, Alfred was an assassin or a hired gun that was supposed to take down Batman, but instead he becomes like his ally. It's pretty cool. Where he has the bat symbol on his chest, it's very broad and big, and he uses that as like an axe, which is awesome. Yeah, there's a lot about him that's very different. Killer Croc, Catwoman, I believe Riddler, and there's one other. They were all like childhood friends of his. I think Penguin was the other one. Yeah, and so all these comics, they're all really interesting, and it's very cool. With like this darker perspective, how all the heroes are the underdogs and the villains kind of had the one up, and they still have to, they're still able to like win the day sometimes. I really like this universe. There's a whole bunch of other characters, but if I went over all of them, then this would take a while. This is already a super long video, so yeah. Okay, this one that takes one of my favorite, actually it might be my top favorite. I don't know. He takes my top favorite and kind of flips them. My favorite, I think, comic book character, or just movie, just character, would have to be Iron Man. I love it. I love him. He's so cool. So in this universe, this is called Superior Iron Man. If you've heard of him, get ready. This is awesome. In an event in the comics called Axis, all of the heroes and villains have their personalities flipped. So the old villains turn into heroes, and then the heroes turn into villains. Everything is eventually put right, except Iron Man chooses to stick with this evil personality that he has. Superior Iron Man is basically everything that Iron Man is, but better and more evil. He's much more ruthless, he's more brutal, he has no problem with using civilians in a battle or killing anybody. He has no problem with that. He's very brutal and very dangerous in a fight. He is stronger and faster because of it's called an endosym armor. He created it using liquid metal that was kind of based off of Venom and Carnage and like symbiotes like that, where he he just controls it with his mind and it fits around him. It's like liquid metal, and he's much stronger than regular Iron Man because of that. In this comic, he's very ruthless. He doesn't really care about anyone but himself. He's very narcissistic and very extreme. He uses Extremis 3.0 and puts it into the water source for people in San Francisco, and as they drink it and it enters their bloodstream, they become like super soldiers, and that gets them like addicted to it. And then he sends an app out to them, and he's like, you guys can keep using this for $100 daily fee. So he becomes much richer by that, even though like he didn't need to. That's weird, but yeah, he does not need to be any richer than he already is. Daredevil finds out what he's been doing, and he's not into it. He's like, dude, what are you doing? So he tries to fight him, but obviously Iron Man wins. Daredevil was out of his league there. So he kidnaps Daredevil after knocking him out, brings him to his place, I don't know, and uses Extremis Extremis to heal his eyesight, so now Daredevil can see, which was like his one weakness basically. So now he can see, and that's really cool. But Iron Man's like, okay, you can keep this ability to see if you work for me and like stop trying to fight me and all that. Daredevil's still not into it because he's a hero, right? He's standing up for his morals, which is very dang it, I don't know, heroic basically. I don't know. That's cool. Good for him. But he asks Iron Man, like, dude, what gives you the right to do this to everybody? What gives you the right to basically play God? And he drops the most insane line ever, and I'll put it on the screen. Basically, it's totally what would come out of Evil's Iron Man's mouth, or just like regular Iron Man. I don't even know. He's basically like, playing God's not that hard. I mean, if Thor can do it, how hard can it be? I haven't been playing God. I've been playing human this whole time, and that's crazy to me. Oh my goodness, that's such an amazing line. Eventually, though, I believe he is. I believe he's killed by Captain America, which kind of sucks, but he's evil, so I guess it had to happen. Yeah, kind of sucks, but he's great. He's a cool character. It's fun. I think you guys should read it or check it out if you want to find out more. If you guys have something to tell me about it, then I would love to hear it. You guys should totally share that with me. I would love to know more. So yeah, because I haven't actually read any of these comics. These are just comics that I want to read eventually in the future because they're awesome, and they're just characters that I really love. And these are just a few. There are like a ton more. Okay, but they probably won't fit into like one video if I'm trying to keep them lower than an hour. But yeah, it's really cool. I love Iron Man, Superior Iron Man. He's so cool. I hope they make a movie about him. I hope something is done with him. That'd be awesome. Yeah. Okay, this one is a really fun crossover that I just spent a very long time nerding out about and just entirely loving, even though I haven't actually read the comic yet. It's called Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong. It's a very long title, and you guys are like, oh, another Godzilla thing. A lot of you probably are like, oh, this sucks. Come on, this is for nerds. Well, I'll get news for you. All of this is for nerds. Get over it. But this one's actually really cool. So this isn't a DC comic. This is actually a comic made by the MonsterVerse, and the MonsterVerse is it's what is it? It's like the MonsterVerse are the more recent movies with like Legendary Godzilla, GVK, like New Empire, all those movies. You probably put them on the screen. So it's basically what happens is the Legion of Doom, they're raiding, I believe, the Hall of Justice, and they're looking for some mother boxes, but Toyman gets a little greedy when he sees something called the Dream Crystal. So which is a crystal that can basically make your wildest dreams come true, or turn into reality. I guess Dream Man dreamed of Godzilla. I don't know, but he touched that and got Skull Island, Godzilla, and most, if not all, of like major kaiju transported into the DC universe, except for Rodan and Ghidorah, I believe. Anyway, so Godzilla goes to Metropolis, and Superman's not having that, and they have this epic brawl that is super cool, and I think fairly accurate. Who wins that brawl? It's Godzilla. Yeah. And the entire Justice League have to fight off against these kaiju. Lex Luthor plans and plots, finds Mechagodzilla and plans for him. So he doing what Lex Luthor does. He decides, hey, I'm gonna take this mech and I'm gonna destroy the Justice League and Superman with it. So he does. He becomes the pilot of Mechagodzilla, and the Legion of Assassins are involved. It's a whole thing, and it's really cool. The whole story, it's awesome. Batman fights in a mech because, of course, Batman has a giant mech. Why not? It's Batman. Give him 5 minutes of prep time, he could destroy the universe. Anyway, yeah. It's really cool, and man, I love this story. It's awesome. I love it. I love DC. I love the MonsterVerse, specifically just the MonsterVerse. I don't really care for the rest of them. And putting them together to like fight, I love it. I love it when people take characters from different stories and put them against each other. It's so fun. It's so interesting. And this is one of them, and it's done really well. The artwork looks awesome. It was made in like 2023 and 2024, so it's fairly new. That's 2 years ago. It doesn't seem like that long. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and I suggest you guys read this or check it out. If you have had it, give me your thoughts. Tell me what you guys think about it. Yeah, it's awesome. Okay, this one is about one of my favorites. He's pretty cool looking, and I think that this is one of the coolest versions of this character. Coolest looking wise, at least. This is Ultimate Wolverine, and it is part of the Ultimate Universe. Universe 6160, I believe. Something like that. So it's like a spin-off of the main universe, which is 616 in Marvel. It's a universe. Actually, no. I'll get into that. I'll get into that later. Trust me. I'll believe me. I'll get into that. Anyway, but this character, super cool. One of my favorites. So Wolverine, Logan, is kidnapped by the I believe he was kidnapped by like Colossus and Magic, who have turned evil, and they brainwashed him and turned him into the Winter Soldier. That's the word. My bad, fellas. Wolverine is the Winter Soldier, and that is awesome. He is completely ruthless and entirely brutal, and he just looks so cool. Something about Wolverine. This guy just keeps getting his memory lost, keeps getting used as a weapon. Guy cannot catch a break. But yeah, he's sent to go take out a bunch of rebels like Mystique and Nightcrawler and a bunch of others. He's very ruthless in just unaliving all of them, haywarding them, yes. With kindness, I assure you, yes. Super cool. And eventually, I believe he meets Jean Grey, and she's like, Logan, it's us. Dude, why are you attacking all of us? And everyone's just surprised that Wolverine is taking all of them out. Because they thought this guy was their friend. But he doesn't know them. He's brainwashed. He's the Winter Soldier. He's just doing what he was told. But Jean Grey uses her powers to like get through to him, and he starts to go through a journey of like mental rehabilitation, and he's trying to get like rid of the brainwashing. So it's kind of, yeah, it's very cool. It's a lot like Bucky Barnes, like kind of in the movies, how he's always struggling to get over this mental programming that he's been through, and just Wolverine always losing his memory and all like the trauma and stuff, because he doesn't know these people, but they know him. Why do they know him? So it's really cool, and I don't know the full story, but I really want to read all of it. I think eventually he turns good and starts helping everybody, and joins the kind of this world version of the Avengers called the Ultimates. But hey, we're getting ahead of ourselves. I'll talk more about them a bit later. So the Ultimates. Okay, in this universe, this reality was created by a character called the Maker, who is an evil alternate version of Reed Richards. He basically wanted, well, he wanted to take over the world because, I mean, classic villain shenanigans. So he created a universe where basically all of the superhero origins never really actually happened. He was locked away he was beaten by a group of superheroes. I can't remember what they're called. I don't think they were called the Ultimates, that's later. But basically he was locked in a place called the City, I believe, by Iron Man, who was not Tony Stark, but it was Howard Stark. And he has a few years until eventually he breaks free. So he rules the world, he's like the top guy, top dog, and then under him are lesser villains that like rule separate parts of the globe. Like Hulk is one of them, Magic and Colossus and Omega Red rule another part, and then there's a couple others, but they're not important, I don't care. But basically to stop them, a team forms called the Ultimates, and the main leaders are Doom, who is another form of Reed Richards, and Iron Lad, who is Tony Stark, but he's, instead of being a full-grown man, he is a teenager, basically. He's an adolescent. So it's Iron Lad, Doom, Thor, Sif, I believe Human Torch, Captain America, Ultimate Wolverine, so Wolverine, and there might be a few others, but I can't really remember. Those are the main ones, really. Oh, and Ant-Man. Ant-Man is, yeah. So they have to like team up and fight the Maker. They create this kind of time machine so that they can go back in time, stop events from happening, and go forward, like, you know. And all this time they're fighting the most like dangerous man in the universe, basically, and they're trying to outsmart him and all that. So it's really cool. It's very interesting. I don't know if they've actually finished the series yet. They might have, but it's very interesting so far, and it's really cool because I'm pretty sure Doom has like a very like traumatized past with the Maker. They like met before, because of course they have, and Doom was like tortured, I think, or something. But it's pretty cool, and I really want to read it. I want to know what happens. Yeah, it's very interesting. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. This was definitely a very long video. This is probably going to be one of, if not my longest video. Definitely the longest one I've made so far. I'm glad that if you've stayed so far, thank you. A lot of these comics I did not explain very well, or might have gotten like some info wrong, so I would totally encourage you guys to research it and let me know down in the comments. If you already know, then yeah, tell me, or if there are some other really cool comics and storylines that you want to let me know about, please do. I would be happy to hear them. Like, there's a bunch of other comics and characters, really, that from other comics that I really like and I really enjoy, but this video has to end at some point. So, yeah, totally leave a comment, okay? Tell me if you liked this video, what you liked about it, what you didn't like, what you want to see more of. And I'm sorry this took a while, but yeah, I'll try to make my next video come out a little sooner. It should be a lot easier to make. Subscribe for more content. Go down and view my channel for more videos a little bit like this. This is a bit different from other videos that I've made, but we're all kind of book related. They're all book related, and yeah, if that interests you, please subscribe, leave a like, all of that, and watch some of my other videos. Watch some of my shorts. I've got a bunch of those. Yeah, no, that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys later.